Hi guys, welcome to the Shrewsbury. Look at that! Welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. I'm Alex White. That's how the show goes, by the way, Laura. That's just how it is. I'm Alex Whiteley, and I'm really, really pleased to be here today. I'm recording a number of different shows this weekend, so I can schedule everything out for the month so I can concentrate on Pod Aid. If you listen to the show, you know what Pod Aid is. We will elaborate on that a bit more later. Today I'm joined by Laura from the Shropshire GOAT. And thank you so much, Laura, by the way, because I was like, I need some interviews for today. And you were like, okay, straight away. So thank you so much for that.
No messing.
No messing. Get on it. Let's do this. Laura, where are you hailing from today? I take it you're in Shropshire?
I am in Telford right now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, and I've just moved here. It'll be a month in like a couple of days that I've lived in Telford now. So I'm brand new.
Where have you come from?
Leicester. I've just spent the last kind of 15 years or so in Leicester, and we've just moved over. So kind of hanging out with family after the old lockdown and whatnot. Got a little girl, so
that old bombshell.
Yeah. So I'm in a totally new place. Never lived here, and never really had that much to do with Shropshire before. And I'm finding.
That's really interesting. How does Telford compare to Leicester then for you?
It's pretty different, to be fair, because Leicester's a city. It's one of the biggest cities in the UK. I think it's like the top 6 or something. So so we're a lot smaller here, a lot more rural, lots of really pretty places to go. And I really actually like the way that Telford and Shropshire is kind of this collection of little villages and towns. So there's like loads of super interesting places to explore. And I really like the fact that the trains are a lot cheaper. So you can actually go out and explore them pretty economically, which is cool. So getting over to Shrewsbury and places like that is really quick, really simple. And I like that a lot.
It's really nice hearing an outside perspective on sort of Shropshire and Telford. I mean, the Shrewsbury Biscuit for me has been it's been something that I made because I just moved to Shrewsbury. So I was just finding out about the town. So I was finding out about the town, so I was at the same time as my listeners were. And so you've got a really good perspective. And I feel like, anything that you do going forward can only be enhanced by that, because you're learning everything for the first time. Pretty much.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm hoping that way I can sort of, same as you really, find out all the really cool stuff that everyone already knows about, but also kind of put my feelers out and find like interesting hidden gems and secret things that people don't perhaps know about, that, because you don't always go out and do the stuff on your doorstep, do you? But when you're new, you're kind of more inclined to go and explore a bit more. So I'm hoping I might open up Shropshire a little bit more for people who've lived here all their lives, perhaps.
My primary school teacher, I was very lucky to be taught by David Trumper, who is a well-known historian. There's lots of his books about Shrewsbury and about Shropshire. And I always remember on a little field trip, because my school was Lady Grove in Dorley Bank, if everybody's local to that, you'll know. And we took a walk into Dorley in Telford, and we were walking around, and he's like, what you guys need to remember is whenever you're walking around your hometown is to look up. Don't just look at the pavement, look at the buildings around you, because the architecture will take you by surprise sometimes. And I pretend like I heard that in Shrewsbury, but I didn't. I heard that from David Trumper in Dorley. And when you're from or you live in Telford, Dorley's just Dorley. Do you know what I mean? It's just Dorley. You forget that it's actually a village that's hundreds of years old and has lots of history. So you're right. Sometimes you've got to be a tourist in your own town, or even be new to the town and be a tourist. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. The staycation is the new thing, isn't it? And it turns out that there's loads to do that's pretty cost effective, which is important at the moment because nobody has any money. But also you can throw some spends out there and have a bit of fun as well. So I have basically started a new online magazine called the Shropshire GOAT, which is charting my adventures basically at the moment. But I'm really hoping that it will grow into a resource that people can use to see what's going on in and around Shropshire.
Nice. So as a magazine, have you made anything like this before? Have you got any sort of experience with magazines or content of that kind?
So in my kind of day job, I'm kind of a jack of all trades, really, but I'm a freelance food and drink writer, and I run a little company with my husband called First Media, which is like a creative agency, and we do like content creation, photography, audio, all that kind of thing for small businesses and charities. So kind of helping to amplify the voice of small independent businesses around the country, actually, but obviously predominantly in our local area. So I clearly have a key interest in food and drink, and you'll notice that the Shropshire GOAT is quite beer heavy, because beer writing is probably what I'm best known for.
Oh, so nice.
The pubs and the breweries are what I make a beeline for. But also, hopefully as time goes on and I get out exploring more and more, you'll see some cool video content, some nice photography, just some things to bring the stuff to life. So I've done websites before. We build websites for small businesses. So I've done a nice little simple website there for the Shropshire GOAT, and started to bob some listings on and some information so people can see what's happening, and also just places that I visit and things that I see, so that hopefully there'll be kind of just everything to do in your leisure time, like eats and drinks, but also kind of fun stuff, festivals, events, sports, and family friendly stuff as well, because I think a lot of the time the kind of family side isn't really focused on that much. Like if you've got kids, you want to know where to take them, what to do. And that's something that I want to cover as well, because I have a 2-year-old myself, so I need to find stuff to keep her occupied as well.
You sound like my kind of people, especially when it comes to content creation. I'm just like, wow, I couldn't make you at a better time. We all kind of need to amplify our voices a little bit, and social media is, of course, the biggest voice out there. If you know how to use it, and if you make content, if you're a content creator, most people have kind of learned how to sort of get through the algorithms and stuff, So the more, I think, it's who you know in this business for sure. And well, you know what? Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, I mean, who you know is kind of the key thing, because the whole point of the Shropshire GOAT is it's the goat, the greatest of all time. So I'm trying to find the best things out there, and so this just gives me an excuse to go up to people and say, hey, here I am, what's going on, what do you do? And it gives me a really good kind of lead in to talk to people and find out more about their businesses and go and visit them.
And speaking of turning up at the right time, I feel like Shropshire is so amazing for independent food creators, breweries, independent businesses on the whole, whether it's coffee shops, whether it's restaurants. I feel like there's definitely a cry for help there at the moment, because things are getting tight now for people. And I was talking about we went for an Indian last night, and I was like, we don't come for an Indian that often. It's one of those nice things you do every now and again. Like, you know what I mean? So always stick to the same meals. This is just a talk about me going, yeah, I need to eat some spicy curries, but like I only have so much to spend, so I have the same thing every time. But what the most important thing is, people can't afford to go this place, that place, and that place. So they need to know the best places to go and eat and drink. And this is where people like you and maybe myself come into, and lots of other creators of great content like yours. I think it's a really, really well needed. The hospitality has been punished so badly over the last sort of 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and I really, like you say, things are tight for everyone. They're tight for the businesses with their utility bills, like increasing in price at an astronomical scale. They need the custom, otherwise we're going to lose them. Like, you've got this great food and drink scene. You've got like the Ludlow Food Festival coming up in a couple of weeks. The Shrewsbury Beer Festival is next week, coming up at the end of next week. So there's tons of stuff happening where you can get
involved. The camera one.
Yeah, the camera one. Yeah, that'll be happening.
Yeah. No, we got history of me in that little beer festival we have.
And Oktoberfest looks fab as well. So there's like tons of stuff happening. But like you say, sometimes you're not sure where the best place is to spend what money you have, what disposable income you might be fortunate enough to have at your disposal, as it were. And so I think the idea is.
Sorry.
So the idea is definitely to get out there and spend it wisely, like support those independents, get those, because every pound you spend with a small independent business, a local brewery, a fantastic cafe, a beautiful butcher's, they're putting that money, ploughing that back into the local economy as well. It's not going into the pockets of shareholders who might live anywhere, and I'm really keen to kind of champion that independent voice wherever possible.
I'm taking a different perspective on Oktoberfest this year, because we go every year. We're good friends with Shropshire festivals. They're great people. I was changing my light because I think that's made a difference. And I am bringing a friend from Stoke, someone that's never been to Shrewsbury before, because I feel like it's nice to get, like we were just talking about at the beginning of this podcast, good to get an outside perspective. I know what to expect from Oktoberfest. I've been there before. But let's show someone who's never seen it and see what they think. And I'm going to follow around with a microphone and maybe a camera, and we're going to get that. We're going to get those views. I feel like that's really important. And yes, with festivals like this, they do a great job at illustrating what is good around us. And I've always said that. I've always championed local events. Because, so we've got Drawn coming up on the 24th and 25th of September. You should definitely come to this, by the way. Drawn is fantastic. It's at the Shrewsbury Museum. And it's artists that they have desks where they sell, tables where they sell their stuff. There's workshops going on. But like for an artist, you can't walk around and be like, I'm an artist. It's nice to be able to show people what you can do. And these art fairs are great at it. And same as events, if you're at an event where it's food or drink orientated, you can be like, yeah, try some of this. This is what we do. This is the smell can draw someone to the food truck. Or it's that's the beauty of events like this. Don't you think?
Definitely. And I think as well, it's really interesting to kind of have so many new options available, because like things like, it sounds like Drawn and also the beer festivals, there's so much on offer that you can stick with things and you already know that you love and you're confident with, or you can just branch out there and try something new. So I was writing up Oktoberfest the other day for the website. And I went through the beer list and I was like, well, here are some great beers that I might pick. But actually, I'm more likely to go for things like there's Magic Dragon Brewing, Dragon Brewing, and all kinds of names that I haven't heard of before, which is fantastic. I've been writing about beer for years, and there are breweries that I've never tasted in my life before. So actually, when I go to something like that, I go straight for the places that I haven't heard of and try something new, and that's a great way to discover great things, And there is so much choice out there. So I'm kind of overwhelmed at the moment, just a couple of weeks into this whole goat thing, that it seems like, where do I start and how do we pack it all in,
You've got such a big patch as well, the whole of Shropshire, really?
Why not?
From Ludlow to Bridgnorth to Telford to Shrewsbury, then there's Oswestry, Ellesmere. There's so much going on there in the whole county. But I guess it's like rich pickings, isn't it? You can choose what you want to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. And like I say, it's relatively easy. Like, I don't drive. I have my little bike, so you can see me pedaling around. And it's relatively easy to get around, even though it is a rural county. So that's great. I just think, well, why not get out there? Why limit myself to Telford or wherever? And obviously, at the beginning, certainly it's going to be relatively Telford heavy, because I'm gradually branching out from where I live to discover different things. And already I've been blown away. Like, I don't know if it's just because we happened to move here in the summer, but like, we went to the balloon fiesta the other day, and that's amazing.
I was there.
Like,
that was good.
What a resource for like the town council to put on for free, and you pop down to the town park, and not only are there always these amazing, there's so many like playgrounds and activities and all this stuff going on, but then I was watching like some of the world's best BMXers do a display, and I just thought, well, this is cool. Like, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to go to this. And that gave me the chance. Then I popped into Albert's Shed, because I'd heard that that's a great place for live music, just, scoping it out, having a look. Fantastic beer lineup in there, by the way. You're really blown away. Got to try 3 Tons Brewery for the first time. That's one of the most historic breweries in the country, and it's only 20 odd miles away from me now. So yeah, I'm excited about it, but I'm kind of tripping over myself to to get all these things out at once. And what I think I need to do is kind of go, yeah, actually, this is a project that I need to settle into, and I'm going to be on this for years. You know, this will never end because there's always new events, there's always new stuff happening. So I'm hoping that this is something, even when I feel like I'm, you know, I've elbowed my way in and become, you know, an honorary Salopian, that I might actually kind of keep it going, and it's something that, you know, might lead, well, who knows where it'll lead. That's the joy of it, really.
We've spoilt you, Laura. That's it now. You're going to be like, oh, where's all the festivals? Where's
all the stuff? Yeah, bring it on.
There's a week with nothing going on. How is this possible?
I don't believe that happens.
Shropshire is terrible.
Shropshire never stops. That's what I'm discovering.
Yeah, it is. It's great because if you go onto Facebook and you look for events near me, there you can scroll for the whole week. Just for 1 week, you can keep scrolling. There's so much going on. Whether it's something going on at Theatre 7, or whether it's something that's going on at the place in Open Gates, or whether it's a festival or an event or a food festival or something like that that's going on. It's a great place for it. And what I love about the county, I mean, I get this a lot from Shrewsbury, and you notice in my logo I have the Shropshire badge on the front, because there are places surrounding Shrewsbury I feel like are really important. You know, county wise, I like to talk about things that's going on in Telford. We work with Rocking Horse Media that are based in Oswestry. You know, we do venture outside of Shrewsbury because it's important to know what's going on in your county, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited. I was actually going to head out to Hencote, the vineyard, yesterday, but the trains were all yada yada. There was safety issues on the track and whatnot, so I'm in on Monday instead. And again, that's like, you know, I'm literally just in the process of adding them into an article I'm writing for Glug magazine. I don't know if you know about them. They're like have you heard of Beer 52? They do a beer subscription service.
Yes, I spoke to them. I was chatting to them a while ago because I was like, send me a box and I'll review it. You know, like this, like, it's really cringy. I'll do an opening, or, you know, I'll do
all right, an unboxing. Well, they have like a sister website now, which is Wine 52, so you can get wine subscriptions as well. And the same as the beer service, they send out a magazine every month which has cool articles, and I write for Ferment, which is the beer one, and Glug, which is the wine one. So I've already like found an opportunity where I should be able to mention some of the great wines that Hencote are making. So I'm going to go out and visit those and make sure that it does exactly what I'm hoping it to do, and then I'll be able to include those not just in the Shropshire Goat, but also in some of the kind of writing that I do as well. So
I can imagine how the process. This is very, very nice wine. I mean, have you got to do the tasting and the writing separate? Because I imagine after a while you very much love what you're writing about.
Yeah, well, it's always important to keep copious notes, or you know, maybe some dictaphone notes, perhaps, just so you know what's happening. But also drink responsibly. This is what we say is an important message. But I think Hencote's amazing. Like I can't believe that I've landed on their doorstep, because they're making some of the best red wine in the world, according to the International Wine Challenge, which is like the best wine awards globally. And you know, England, Wales can't make red wine, is what everyone says, because we're cold climate. It's really hard to get the grapes to ripen properly. But with climate change, which is what my article that I'm writing is about, that was a good sentence for a writer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But with global temperatures increasing slightly, that means that actually now it's becoming more viable to make red wine, and that's something that they're excelling at. Just, I think, 2 miles north of Shrewsbury. I hope it's only 2 miles north, because I'm taking my bike on the train and then cycling there. And if it's not, I'm going to be, very tired, I imagine.
I love your optimism. I really do, because even when you were saying, "Well, I hope it's 2 hours, 2 miles."
I hope it's not 2 hours. That would suck. I'll be back in Leicester.
I hope it's not too much. You still sound really hopeful and happy, and you know, during your travels at the start of your adventures with the Shropshire Goat, I bet you've had the best time. Just trying.
Yeah, for sure. We're like 2 weeks in, and it's like, you know, it's super, super new. I cannot stress how new it is. So please go along, ShropshireGoat.com, at Shropshire Goat on all the big social media platforms, all that kind of thing, and follow. And like, I'm super excited that yesterday we hit 100 followers on Instagram. And it's like, from small beginnings, it has to start somewhere. And that feels
That's
great.
how I found you.
We've got 100 people, and that's awesome that there's already lots of businesses getting involved. I went to wonderful Izzy's Cafe in Wellington the other day. I had an amazing breakfast using really great kind of butchers sausages. They had butchers faggots from the butchers on their specials menu, and I was there in the morning. I was like, oh, I kind of really want that, because that's great. And it's just a small little cafe. They've just been taken over by new owners, and they were really excited to say, come on down, come and see what we're doing, come and find out for yourself. And so, they're the friendliest people on earth. While I was sat in there, Liz, who's the new owner, she talks to everyone, and I was just sat there waiting for my food to come out. And while I was just waiting in that short time, she found this older lady who was going to sit on her own, and actually realized that she knew someone in the back corner of the cafe. And she said, oh, do you mind if she comes and sits with you? They sat together, had a nice sociable lunch together, when otherwise they might have been on their own. There was another guy who got his order. She brought his coffee out, and she said, oh, I didn't put you a biscuit on the side because you're diabetic. That's right, isn't it? So you won't want a biscuit. He said, yeah, that's it. No, I don't. Thank you. Thanks for not putting the temptation in front of me. It's like the little touches like that I think so amazing. And that's how you find the good places. So it's like Henko is this like amazing high-end vineyard with, from what I hear, incredible panoramic views around the Shropshire Hills, and this kind of amazing fine dining, fine wine experience. And then Izzy is like open at 6:30, go and get your builder's breakfast, have a great cup of tea, which is important, as we all know,
of course.
and get that kind of friendly chit chat, and just kind of feel a bit part of the community. So I'm running the full spectrum, because I think that there's something for everyone out there to do and to enjoy. And so I don't want it to be exclusive. It's not like, oh, you can only go to a bar that does 15 quid cocktails. No, you can go and have a lovely bang up breakfast for 5-6 quid. Or you can go to that great cocktail bar. I'll try and find those as well. It's, really, you need to kind of look at all the options and find free stuff as well. I think free stuff's important too, like the blue.
Oh yeah, we all love a freebie, don't we? Everybody loves a freebie.
Oh, for sure. And like when I finish this interview, we're heading out. Again, just looking through the internet and trying to find what's happening. I found that there's like a little community fun day at a centre just like 3 minutes walk down the road from me today. So once we finish this, we're taking the little one down and gonna get her on the bouncy castle. So magical times.
Sounds fantastic. And when it comes to writing, talking about how positive you are, do you think it's important to write the truth when it comes to, I mean, because you can keep it with a biscuit. I tend to keep it really positive. I don't really be like, oh, when they're doing that relief road, or when they're doing this, or there's the council of this, and I like to keep things positive, because I feel like people see enough of that on Facebook and in the news. Let's keep things happy. But as a writer yourself, do you feel like it's important to write when something's bad, or do you just have to avoid it and keep things positive?
This is a really interesting one, and something that I've talked about with a lot of people over many, many years before. I like to be positive as much as possible, but I also like to be honest. And I think that for me, that I know there's a lot of people who won't cover things that they didn't like, or that wasn't very good, and I will almost always continue to cover things, and I'll try and find the positives as well as negatives. So I'll always try and be constructive with any criticism of why I didn't have a good time. So quite often, if somewhere's new, they'll have a whole new set of staff, they're dealing with new systems, and so things can go wrong, and that's fine. And I will always kind of say, this has loads of potential perhaps, so I'm going to head back in a couple of months when they've found their feet, they're a bit more settled, and see how it runs. But I also think that it's really important, like you were saying, people want to know where's a good place to spend the money that they've got. And if there are no negative points in reviews out there, then people maybe just assume that it's fine because no one's written about it. So it's like, actually, there might be somewhere that isn't so worth investing your time and your money in. But when you Google it, nothing comes up because everyone goes, oh, it was rubbish. So I'm not going to cover that. So I'll always make sure to put that honest, it's always my honest reflection of my own experience. And, that's all I can give really. But yeah, I think it's good to give businesses the chance to improve as well. If there's a problem, always talk to them at the time and give them the chance to kind of, sort it out or figure out, or, redo a system if there's a problem with, I don't know, how their menus are working or how their staff are trained or all that kind of stuff. You can politely and respectfully talk to people about that. And then that's the sort of thing that if that happens, I will cover that when I write about it as well. So I think having the good and the bad out there is important, because otherwise there's just an assumption that it's fine or no one's written about it yet, when actually you might know in your soul it's not a great place to go, and it forewarned is forearmed. But also at the end of the day, this is all my opinion. So by all means, take it with a pinch of salt and try it for yourself.
Absolutely. We went to an Indian last night in Monkmore that I'd never been to before. And it was actually wonderful. We went with the family, and it was really funny because we turned up with all my wife's from Colombia, so it's all the Colombian lot, and we all sat in the corner, a massive table, and we had just the best time. I was like, we're definitely coming back here, and I wouldn't have known about that place unless I'd actually got been taken there by the family. So when it comes to food, I had this idea, maybe we can even collaborate on this at some point. It's still in the pipeline. I'll just have to put a back burner on it for a little bit, but I've got a really good camera. I've got some good microphones. I know some good people, but you turn up to, I like Bar Rescue and Kitchen Nightmares and these kind of shows where Gordon Ramsay turns up, but I want to do something like that, but positive, right? So instead of goat turn up being, oh, it's raw, I want to, I want to turn up and be like, this is this bar, this Indian restaurant. It's in Monkmore. It's a quiet little place, but let's meet the staff. And then you speak to the chef, and then you look at you pan around with the camera, looking at some of the dishes, and then you get people on the table, and you can invite people like yourself, who's a writer, or even another chef that works in Shrewsbury, and we can really sort of go around the county and sort of show people that there are really good places to eat. And to meet, and that was one of our ideas. Liam Timsley came up with that idea, and I still very much want to do something like that. It's just I need to get Pod Aid out of my way before I can do that. That's a good idea. Because like you said,
I think that's the kind of thing that I try and do kind of in my actual proper business life is, kind of work with brands and businesses and help them just to develop their own brand personality, let people know about what they do. And sometimes they just need little tweaks to really get the word out there a bit more. It's like, just sometimes just telling people, just post every day on Instagram. Don't post once and then 2 months later look at your account and say, well, why isn't it growing?
Nobody even liked it. What are you on about? Yeah.
It's like, just little tips like that can really help small businesses. So I find doing that kind of thing and being really positive really gets people enthused about what they're doing and pushes them to the next level. And also helping to connect businesses is really important. So I love one of my favorite things to do is pairing food with wine, beer, spirits, and alcohol-free equivalents as well. So I love doing events where you can introduce people to wines and beers, spirits that they haven't perhaps tried before, tell them how to taste. Love telling people how to taste because it's so funny. Everyone's like, you're gonna tell me how to drink this? Not only that, I'm gonna tell you how to look at it and how to smell it first as well, as if I wasn't patronizing enough. But then also, if you've got a great drink from someone local, you find a fantastic, there's brilliant beef here in the county, for example, brilliant cheese. Now, if you start putting those things together, you're bringing businesses together, and then that helps to spark off new ideas. And as an independent community, which we are part of as the content creators, we all get stronger by working together. Competition is a positive thing. The more people there are kind of bringing footfall, bringing the public into an area, the better off we all are. So if anyone needs someone to hold a beer tasting or anything like that, let me know, because I love it. It's when I'm in my element.
How are you with gin?
Oh yeah, great, love gin. I'm one of the judges. I do the specialist spirits judging for the Great Taste Awards every year.
Oh
So
wow!
I've been through a lot of gin over the
So,
last few years.
do you know Darren from Gin Different in Shrewsbury?
I don't know him in person, but I think that we
Mm.
have had contact in the past. I used to have a gin brand that I looked after for a while, and I have a feeling that we did some cool collaboration
Oh, he's got
stuff.
this bar in the market hall in Shrewsbury, and it's just the whole back wall is just different gins, independent labels, non-independent labels from this country, not from this country. He is just the gin expert. Good friend of mine as well. I'll definitely have to hook you guys up because I think you'd have a
Yeah,
great conversation.
nice. It's interesting times. I mean, the gin wave continues to ride, but we can see some great rums and also some fantastic whiskies coming up on its coattails now. So gin's got a little bit of competition, but it's going to stay strong, I think, at least for the next few years.
We need more mead. I love mead. Right?
There's mead. There's mead out there, but yeah, I've not looked for mead in Shropshire yet, but there's definitely great mead being made in this country. So.
I love working with other content creators. I've always welcomed, whether it's a new podcast, whether people are going to make a vlog. I love working with people that do something similar to me because I feel like, there's what, 16 billion ears on the planet. Do you know what I mean? Out of the 8 billion that's here. So there's plenty of people to listen to your stuff. And whether it's you doing something that's not local, whether you're doing your own beer tasting podcast, whether you like to talk about Batman, whatever it is, like let's just all get together and just share notes and get to know each other and stuff, because I feel like you're right. People that work together in the same sort of field can only learn from each other. And
yeah, there's space for all of us, definitely. And I think, because we all have different perspectives, we all come at it from a slightly different route. We're all walking different paths, to be horribly and annoyingly hippie about it. But we all have expertise in different areas, and I love learning as well. Like, this is how I've got into kind of doing more of the drinks writery stuff over kind of the last 5 or 7 years or so, is just because I just want to know more, and I just I keep going. There's not a brewery on earth that I don't want to have a walk around and a little nose about. I keep doing my wine qualifications so that people hopefully believe that I actually know what I'm talking about, because honestly, rainbow hair, you walk in and say, hi, I'm leading your wine tasting, straight away that makes everyone go, this is not what I was expecting. And it's like taking the snobbery out of wine tasting is like another of my kind of huge missions in life. Wine tasting is for everyone, because there are non-alcoholic wines out there, including as well as alcoholic ones. And wine tasting is not supposed to be snobbish or elitist. It's supposed to be fun. Wine is fun. Wine is nice. And so that's kind of the angle that I like to push.
Yeah. I feel like me and you get on really well. I mean, I'll turn up to award ceremonies in a check shirt and a backwards baseball cap. I love it. And a microphone. And people know who I am straight away.
Always sparkly up.
Whiteley, I'm sorry, but the dress code was smart casual. I'm really sorry about
that. Yeah, I'm not a big dress code person myself, to be honest, but the rules are there to be broken, aren't they?
Absolutely. Well, do you know what? It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you today. I love what you're doing, and I hope we meet each other on the road. And I'd love to invite you. We can do something together sometime. I feel that'd be really good. I got plenty of microphones. There's plenty of room on the biscuit for another person who likes to talk about great things independently and locally. So are you going to do a physical copy of this, or is it just going to be online?
At the moment, it's just online because it's like non-revenue generating. I'm not like asking businesses to pay anything to feature. It's not advertising. It's not anything like that. So I'm just putting in the money to run a website. And doing all the development work and photography and whatnot myself. So people can go to Shropshire GOAT or oneword.com and at Shropshire GOAT on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. And I'm also doing my first ever foray into TikTok. So still finding my voice on that one. But we'll see how that goes. But yeah, all just
TikTok. I'll find you on there. I'll find you on TikTok and I'll follow you. I mean, what we tend to do is I'm gonna actually. Oh, my mouse has just died. Weirdly, I have to use the touchpad. I'm going to share actually one of our TikToks because I think it's really good. It's not a TikTok. It's a video I downloaded for TikTok. Where's it gone?
I actually put up the other day a video that I made in 2009, which was me dancing in front of Machu Picchu before Instagram and TikTok existed. And I thought it was time that went out on the internet because I was doing it first. It's my my hipster approach to TikTok. Here's a really, really old video, probably made before most of you were born, of me doing a silly thing at a World Heritage Site.
I love that. I love things like that. I love being vulnerable, and I do a lot of stuff where actually I'm going to share the square version of this. I love putting myself out there, wearing my heart on my sleeve, and it's kind of a dangerous game really, because you're like, oh my god, look at me, and if nobody's paying attention, you're kind of like, oh, a little bit, but you keep going, working on the radio, and I've done bits of acting and stuff. It's nice to just keep trying and keeping things interesting, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, I couldn't live if it was boring all the time. I'd be so depressed. But I love what I do. I love getting out in the community and finding out about people. Right, what I'm going to do, guys, is before we get out of here, I'm going to tell you about a couple of things that are coming up. Make sure you check out last week's episode, which is I spoke to Cherie Gerard and Mike Perkins. So Cherie is a fantastic artist. She's brilliant at what she does. And Mike Perkins is an artist for DC Comics. He's currently just finished his run on Swamp Thing. He's about to go on to Detective Comics. Great guy. And we're talking about Drawn, which we mentioned earlier in the show. It's an art fair designed for local artists. It's going to be at the Shrewsbury Museum on the 24th and 25th of September. It's a free event. Turn up. There's lots of workshops going on. You can buy the wares and whatever local independent artists are selling. They're great people to speak to as well. We'll be there as well. We're setting up a studio, and we're going to be chatting to people as they come and go. So you can definitely take part in that, and make sure you listen to the episode. I do have a preview here. If you don't, we'll just share. We'll have a listen to. It's delicious, Laura. Is Shrewsbury what you imagined it would be, or do you reckon it's more?
Oh, no. It's more. There's so many different creators here. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, not just illustrators. There's a lot of art that goes on here. And, I mean, just look over the past 2 months. I mean, it's been multiple festivals every week.
Yeah.
So there's always something going on. No, it's definitely more than I thought. Definitely more than I remember from living here 20 odd years back.
Yeah.
So that's when I came back, because I moved back from London, and I was
Cherie
a little
bit for it. She was the spark.
I try, I had a bit of time out when I had my daughter, but I was a bit frustrated when I first moved back.
Right.
And a lot of people seem to move away, when they were in their prime. It's sort of just an exodus. But I think it's more happening now.
I definitely.
So that was recorded at Daily Brews, and I love that coffee shop sound in the background, because that is Shrewsbury. That is what Shrewsbury sounds like. And thank you, Daily Brews, for letting us come and set up our equipment there. That's fantastic. And in 2 days' time on Wednesday, we're going to be sharing with you an interview we did with the Horses and Biscuits crew. It's an episode called Castaway. We're doing this every month now instead of every 2 weeks. We did a background actors workshop at Derwent College in Oswestry, and so many people turned up. It was a great weekend. We're going to have a debrief about that and talk about some new cast members for the Henry House nursing home drama that they're making a TV pilot, which will hopefully turn into a TV show, Laura. And I've read the script, the full script. It is wonderful. So please make sure you check that out. One more final thing. I'm sorry, but we have got a very important thing to talk about, and that is Pod Aid. On the 29th of September at 9 a.m. We're going to go live in front of cameras and microphones, and we're not going to stop until 9 a.m. the next morning. We have a team that spans across the Atlantic. There's me, Alex, Moose, and we have some very special guest hosts coming in as well, which I'll announce at some other time. That's in Shropshire, and over in the States we have Tom Bruno in Vermont, and we have David Raby, and we have George in Santa Ana in California. So that team is going to sit in front of mics and cameras all for those 24 hours. We have 24 amazing guests that are going to be joining us, and we're going to be raising as much money as we can for Lincoln Davis. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and on LinkedIn. That's for everything you need to know. Laura, thank you so much for joining me today. Is there anything you want to throw on before we get out of here?
I don't know. I think I've plugged everything that is possible. You can check out all of my portfolio and random other work if you want to read about beer and that kind of stuff. I think the best place is probably Linktree, Laura Hadland on Linktree, and that's a great way of seeing some of the work that I've done before. If you like kind of beer, wine, spirits, if you like talking about food, if you like talking about sustainability and small producers, that's something I write about a lot as well. So there's all kinds of stuff all over the internet that I have tippy-tap typed out. So yeah, catch up. And if anyone has heard this and would like to get in touch or find out more, they can get me on info@shropshiregoat.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We will catch you next time. Yeah, this has been fantastic. Peace out, everybody. See ya.